Shabbat Shalom, YouTube land, my Hebrew Israelite Mish, Shabbat Shalom. So I wasn't going to make a video tonight. I think I've made 3 today, and I wasn't going to make any more. But it's been placed upon this noggin a message which I think is very important, and I'm pretty sure you will think the same. It must be shared. And when it's hot, you just got to get it when it's hot. And you got to put it out there, because it might vanish and it might not ever come back. So, I grew up check this out. I grew up in a traditional Christian, home. And I know a lot of y'all probably grew up in a similar way. And there was a lot of things that we didn't talk about. Certain specific things. And when I would go out and hang out with my secular friends, I noticed some parents would talk about things that we didn't talk about. And they felt the importance to talk about those to better prepare their children for what was coming up in life. But in our house, we didn't dare talk about that shit, And I'm pretty sure you know what I'm talking about. I think it was the 7th grade. We had sexual education. Now, I know some of y'all's ears are super sensitive, and there's certain things that y'all just can't handle hearing. This is exactly the reason I'm making this video when I didn't plan on it. Because I can't deny such a powerful truth when it's placed inside of this mind. Mind's a very powerful thing. So, I never seen the problem with those parents preparing their children, because I was already thinking about sex at that time, and I wanted to know what I needed to know, And a lot of children that grew up in those Christian traditional homes, backgrounds, man, they were ill prepared. Don't shut it off just yet now, my mishpachah. Just hold on. I know there was times though too, like you probably, I did think they went a little too far. And the bananas and all that stuff, that didn't need to happen. We could have figured that out on our own. That's pretty simple. But there's something that people have been talking about lately. And at first I had no idea what it was. It's called no FAP. And because you guys have such sensitive ears, I won't get into the meaning. Just Google it. No FAP. Why should we talk about this? Well, because we live on planet or plane, whichever one you choose, Earth, where things like this happen, where we are going to do these things. You cannot say, I'm not going to sit here and say that I ain't never done it. Although it's been since November. I'll put it that way. I won't put too much of my personal, life out there. But being how it is a common thing people deal with, I think we should talk about it. Why? Why should we talk about this? Should we just shun these things, these topics that we're going to have to deal with, our children are going to have to deal with, because you just can't handle hearing it? And so you leave your children and yourself ill prepared to face what's ahead. That's pretty dumb if you ask me. So, no FAP. If you don't know what it is, go Google it, come back, watch this. Because what I'm about to say next is super important. Yeah. I found a quote, and I wrote it down, because I can't remember words, and whoever wrote this, he knew what he was talking about. He says, self-discipline begins with the mastery of your thoughts. If you don't control what you think, you can't control what you do. Think about that. Self-discipline begins with the mastery of your thoughts. If you don't control what you think, you can't control what you do. If you don't know what NoFap is, you're probably going to do it. You probably did it earlier today, yesterday, last night. You may have. And don't act like it ain't something that everybody does. I bet there ain't never been a human being in the history of mankind that ain't never done that. Ain't no way to find out. But I'll put my money on that everybody's done it at least once. And that's a huge understatement, because they probably did it all kinds of times. Probably because, well, largely due to the fact that we didn't talk about it. We didn't prepare ourselves and our children to face what the world has to offer, what thoughts are going to come into our human minds, what our human fleshly bodies do. And trust me, he built us this way for a reason and for a purpose. Without it, we couldn't procreate. I wouldn't be here, and neither would you. So, let's talk about this real quick. For those who stayed and their ears aren't so sensitive after Googling what NoFap means, are still here. And I hope all y'all are here, because listen to me. We need to talk about this. Self-discipline begins with the mastery of your thoughts. If you don't control what you think, you cannot control what we do. We can't control it, because it just comes in. We don't know what it is. We do it. And trust me, it's huge that we talk about this. You know why? Us as men, we have the ability to transfer souls into this realm, existence, whatever you want to call it. We got them within us. And those are supposed to be placed in a specific place, because they have a specific purpose. Not here and there. Stay with me. Because that's what people do. I've done it, and I ain't afraid to admit it, because I'm here on earth, and I'm a man, and it happens. And you did it too. Don't sit there and lie. You know you have. And it was horrible. And then all growing up, I had no idea how horrible that was. No one told me. Well, guess what? Big D's here to tell you. I told my boy, I've been telling him, I'm slowly, it's a real, sensitive subject, so you have to take a sensitive approach, but it has to be done. Don't avoid it, because he'll be putting his all over the place. It happens, man. Denial is the worst travesty to us that we could ever self-inflict upon ourselves. Stop being in denial. Those parents back in the day, they were wrong in some ways, but why did they have it right? And those traditional Christian families had it so wrong? Brainwashing. Churches, circuses, had brainwashed them into believing that certain things should never be talked about, because they'll bring horrible, dark sin into your life. No, we were born into a place that is swimming in horrible dark sin. And if I ain't preparing my children for what they're about to face, I'm a failure as a father, which is the last thing I want to be. If you want to deny it, if your ears can't handle what no FAP means, you already know. I ain't gonna say it because I don't want to hurt your feelings. I know you got feelings, and you get caught up in them sometimes. Well, guess what? We are to overcome those. The mastery of your thoughts. If we can't control what we think, we will not control what we do. If you want to control what you do, you best face it. Focus on the task at hand and understand that your children are going to do this. Doesn't mean that they're perverts. It means they're human and they're here on earth just like you are. So face it. Talk about it, deal with it, figure it out, and let them know that they have a big responsibility. It's like Uncle Peter Parker once said, Spider-Man, with great power comes great responsibility. You have a great power as a man, as being born and blessed with your specific assignment. As I'm sure you know, I talk about quite a bit because I like sticking with what your mama gave you. And I ain't getting rid of mine. So, being as how I gotta keep it, I'm glad that the Most High has brought me to this revelation and I'm able to bring it to you so you can realize how serious of a matter it is to bring souls into this existence. And they are to go to a specific place. Yeah. And if you don't talk about it, you're going to be putting them in random areas, wasting them. The worst thing you can do. Yeah. So, no FAP. And let me tell you before I leave you what some of the benefits are of no FAP. Are you feeling lazy with no energy? You can't get out in a lumberjack like BIGD? Try no FAP. November 2020 was the last time I unknowingly placed what Yah has gave me and put me in such a high, it put such responsibility upon me to guard. November was the last time, unknowingly, I put those in the wrong place. A place without no destination and just no regard for what I was doing because I didn't know. And a lot of people don't because I ain't never heard anybody talk about this. When I saw no FAP a couple months ago, I was like, what the heck is no FAP? But see how the Most High, He always deals with His chosen, with His elect. He's been dealing with me on this matter since November. But I'm just now seeing this new term called no FAP. You want some high energy? Yeah. You want to be responsible with the great power you've been endowed with? You want to be doing the right thing? You want your children to do the right thing? Well, teach them how to do the right thing. Don't avoid that subject and that conversation. Make sure you have it. Have it in the proper way, of course. But have it. Mish. I'm going to put this on my Facebook for you guys. I usually don't do this. Big D likes to stay on YouTube land. Because I know y'all, my family, my mishpachah, who I love, I want to. Me doing this is me working hard at loving y'all. I'm gonna put this on there. But like I said, Big D, he stays over there because I know y'all guys got sensitive ears sometimes. And you guys just get in your feelings. Well, guess what? Put your big boy and big girl panties and pants on. Because we are on planet Earth. We're here with an adversary who does not want us to live. And he's got every inkling to destroy us. And he's got arrows and weapons coming straight at you. If you don't know what they are, you don't see them coming, they're going to hit you right in the face and take you out. How do we overcome those things? We realize and we identify those weapons. And if you don't, if you choose to ignore this message and to go on living blindly and lead your kids, your children, children blindly into the pits of hell, I'm going to go ahead and say it. You are a terrible parent and a terrible human being. I have been in the past. If you going to sit here and say you ain't, you're lying, which makes you even more terrible. I'm changing that. Taking a stand against that adversary and against these sensitive candy ass ears that cannot handle the truth. You can't handle the truth. The truth's gonna pass you by and leave you where the blind and the blind end up, in a big old ditch that you'll never get out. But Big D, thankfully for y'all, Big D's here. I'm throwing this life preserver out here for y'all. Start talking about it. Don't be perverts, that's never a good thing. But make sure you talk about it. Face your problems head on and overcome them. Big D's out. Shabbat shalom. I love y'all. Peace.